fez o hambúrguer de Siri colorido do Bob Esponja, velho. Cala a boca, mano. Caralho, ainda tomei logo um AD aqui no começo, velho. Loja.com.br/Cotonauta tá tendo promoção agora. Compra 2 camisetas, ganha mais uma. O frete é fixo de R$ 9,90 para todo o Brasil. Ah, esconde, eu moro no Norte, eu moro no Nordeste, eu moro no Acre, eu moro no Natal. R$ 9,90. O frete. Preste atenção nas minhas palavras.
R$3,01. Escute como faço pra conter o amor que eu sinto por você.
Ah, não contem, né? Tá suave. Firmino, obrigado pelo seu pix. Tamo junto. É nóis demais. É, mano, eu tô pegando time. Como é que é o nome? É... Hambúrguer de Siri... Caralho, qual que é o nome, mano? Vocês lembram o nome? Hambúrguer de Siri...
Vou virar a Lady Sock pobre.
Caralho, a Lady abandonou nós, né, mano? A Lady é assim, né? Ela tirou férias, falou, eu vou viver aqui a minha vida no... Fala um lugar de gente chique aí. Aquele lá que vocês vão e faz frio e come chocolate. Alvorada? Não, Chique. Chique, Keller. Você não tá entendendo, não. Guarulhos. Isso. Maldivas? Ué, as Maldivas você vai e faz frio e chocolate? Gramado. Tá sabendo, Henrique? A Lady foi lá pra Gramado, tá lá comendo uns chocolates de R$8.000. Passando frio e a gente aqui, abandonado, largado. Se adicionar o quê? Se adicionar Iro no final de Chique, vira Alvorada. Caralho, Keller. Tem que amar mais Alvorada City, mano.
You have to make some brilliant buns. Now, my first instinct was to recreate the brightly colored, barely browning bread from the Broodwitch episode. Now, not only did the
pãozinho bonitinho, mano.
Sesame seeds bun cause the bun to brown, but late that night,
a legenda, peço perdão para todos, eu esqueci que era necessário. Traduzir automaticamente para espanhol, né?
Cold sweat, remembering that eggs are not vegan, and on the off chance that's what he meant, I decided.
Tá meio baixo? Como se estivesse entendendo o que o cara tá falando, né? Com todo respeito.
We're starting with 510 grams of bread flour in a large bowl, to which we're going to add 10 grams of instant yeast, 30 grams of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt that we're going to regular size whisk together to make sure that everything is evenly distributed throughout the flour, before adding 275 ml of water and 60 ml of neutral flavored oil like vegetable or canola, mixing together at first by spatula and then by hand until combined into a shaggy yet homogeneous dough.
Boa noite, Nauta. Aí, mano, quando eu tinha tipo uns 12 anos, eu namorei uma Yolanda. Se for a mesma, nós vai sair na porrada, hein, mano. Tu tá pegando minhas ex aí? Que papo é esse, porra? Tá maluco?
An inch of its life until it passes the window pane test, but since we have to make 6 different colors and I don't want to make 6 different batches of dough, I am weighing and dividing this dough into 6 equal pieces, one at a time and keeping the rest covered. First I'm going to break it in half, place it in a jar of the food processor, ready the food coloring of my choice, and then, with the food processor running, slowly drizzling a small amount of color down through the feed tube, then letting the dough process for about 45 seconds total, evenly
12 anos é cedo? Ai, gente, mas eu namorava ela, tipo, eu demorei, tipo, uns 3 meses pra pegar na mão dela, mano. Tá maluco? Só, mano, eu andei de mão dada com ela na excursão, todo mundo ficou, nossa, como eles são safados!
Distributing the color throughout the dough and helping to develop gluten. Use the dough as a sort of sponge to pick up all the scraps, give it a sort of gestural kneading, and place it in a covered oiled bowl until nearly doubled in size. Then we're going to rinse and repeat with the remaining doughs, orange, red, indigo violet, and good old-fashioned green. Once everybody is well kneaded and tinted, it's time to let them rise. Cover everybody with plastic wrap and allow to bulk ferment at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours until visibly embiggened by anywhere from 50 to 100%.
Mano, tudo no seu tempo, escolha se guardar. O amor é só a Cristo.
Shaping. Go ahead and dig out the first color of your choice. I'm going with orange. Weigh it and divide that number precisely in half because each of these mini batches is going to yield 2 extra large slider buns, which I realize is an oxymoron. Go ahead and roll each portion into a nice, smooth, taut ball. Lightly pressing down each to make sure that they don't end up too vertical, and arranging with plenty of space on a parchment-lined baking sheet.
Chupa meu pinto,
Mari, obrigado pelo seu
leaving it
sub
to
com
its
Prime.
own devices for 1 to 2 hours until it nearly doubled in size. Then comes the sticky issue of
Eu tenho
sesame seed
16 e mal
adhesion
falo com
on
mulher.
both the
Caralho, que
water-washed
sonho.
thing. It's vegan and to prevent browning, but that's going to have all the sticking power of, well, water. So they're probably going to have all the staying power of my hairline. Either way, these guys are headed into
Pegar
a
esse de colega é feio?
350
Ué,
Fahrenheit
se
oven
fosse
for
bom...
15 to 18 minutes.
Calma, o quê? Pegar ex de colega o quê? É feio? Ah, mano, depende. Quão ex? É recente? Foi há 1 ano atrás? Foi há 2 anos atrás? Foi há 14 anos atrás? É feio sim. Primeiro que colega não é amigo, né? Começamos aí.
Degrees Fahrenheit at their thickest point, allowed to cool
mês.
completely on the
Aí
trays
tão
if
filha
they're
da
on the lower end of that spectrum. Now onto the issue of vegan cheese-style products. Once again, I'm only making one of each of these burgers, so I don't want to make a huge amount of each different color of cheese. So I'm
Eu uma vez namorei, esse o com acento agudo durou 3 dias cá.
Ah, porque não era pra você. Colega só faz é compartilhar o mesmo ambiente.
2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of kappa carrageenan, 25 grams of arrowroot powder, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt,
se não é
1/2
atual, tá
teaspoons
tudo
of
bem.
onion powder,
Calma. Que? Se os caras terminou uma semana, fica meio paia, mas foda-se, não é atual. É isso mesmo, passou de 3 dias, já é
1
história.
teaspoon garlic powder, 25 grams of nutritional yeast, 50
Passou de 3 dias, já é memória, mano. Vai, lá, pô.
15 ml of lemon juice, 100 ml of sauerkraut or pickle brine, and 375 ml of cold water. This stuff's all getting blended together into rather a thick
Não está
pasty
acontecendo
paste,
agora,
which you
já é
probably need
passado.
to enlist the help of your favorite blender stuffer, pureeing for at least 60 seconds on high speed with varying levels of difficulty.
Que isso, mano? Tá louco? Me distraiu um pouco o que o cara tá fazendo, velho.
Until completely smooth. Next up, you're going to gently heat this on the stovetop until it reaches 180 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't seem to find footage of this, maybe I didn't hit record, but here's the stuff after it's been cooked, which I'm now distributing into each muffin cavity, where I'm going to proceed to tint it using a little bit of food coloring and a tiny whisk. This should hopefully yield 6 pucks of sliceable, meltable, colorful vegan cheese. All it needs is to be covered
esse é um dos canais mais absurdos de culinária que eu já vi. No caso, a gente já viu o vídeo dele. Mas, mano, o cara faz absolutamente tudo mesmo. O cara vai usar queijo, ele faz queijo. O cara vai usar alface, ele planta alface. Esse cara é absurdo, velho.
Refrigerated at least 4 hours or up to overnight to set up the kappa carrageenan, hopefully giving it a bouncy cheese-like texture. Now, upon extraction, I discovered that the tiny whisk betrayed me and the cheese color was not as consistent as I had hoped, but it was delightfully sliceable,
Cara,
kept its
da
shape,
hora,
and
velho.
was actually very cheesy. It definitely tasted funkier and cheesier than American cheese does, even
Esse
though that's
roxinho
obviously not saying
debulhava.
much. If you're gonna make
Todos são iguais. Todos são queijo.
this yourself with food
Queijo.
coloring for some
Nossa,
reason,
você vai
maybe
falar
just add
queijo.
the food coloring before putting it in the mold. Now onto the patty part of the pretty patty. Obviously there's a wealth of colors and nature
Tá gravando,
that
Nauta?
give use, but
Tá.
how do we turn them into veggie patties?
Se fui
So as
obrigado
you can
pelos
see,
beats.
for that I am preparing a litany of legumes, cooking these 3 different colors of lentils to their various states of
lentilha é mais
doneness,
legal,
draining a whole
mano.
bunch of different colored beans, and peeling some purple
Que é,
potatoes.
Kelly?
Normally I would
Que é, mano? Tá maluco?
just cover these with cold water and cook them like it was any other day, but we want to make these things as purple as possible. So we're going to cover them with cold water and cook them like it's any other day.
Achei engraçado a mulher. Tu é bobo, né, porra?
But during their last 3 minutes of cooking, I would add some
Ai,
thinly sliced
cara.
purple cabbage, making sure that it's
Cara
fully
louco,
submerged
velho.
before adding a teaspoon of baking powder, which uses science or magic or both to turn the cabbage and the cooking water a brilliant shade of blue. Definitely not totally necessary, but I
Credo,
wanted
mano.
to try it out, and this seemed as applicable an application as I could apply it to. Go ahead and spread this out on a rim baking sheet so that it can cool entirely before being fashioned into
Mano,
a
tá
burger.
errado. Comida não pode
Also,
ser dessa
corn.
cor aí, não, velho.
Just
Estranho.
corn. Now it's finally time to start prettying patties. The patty equation we decided to work with was 1 part cooked vegetable, in this case spinach, 1 part legumes, I'm using half green lentils, half
Caralho,
edamame,
mano,
half part
ele-
the grain of your choice, I'm
Caralho.
using brown rice, 1/4 part breadcrumbs or ground oats for
Ele
a
não
binder,
usou
1
corante nos
tablespoon of vital
hambúrguer,
wheat
mano. Ele,
gluten, and
tipo,
salt
só
and
usou
pepper to
ingrediente
taste.
da
Pulse
cor do
until a
bagulho, mano. Que
ground
bizarro.
beef-like consistency is achieved, thicken with more rice, ground oats, or vital wheat
Minha amiga
gluten as
quer
needed.
usar a
And there you
fantasia
have
do
it, our
backyard
green
no
patty.
carnaval
Don't have
na
super high
escola,
hopes
me
for this one,
ajuda.
let's try.
Mano, hoje eu acordei. Aí tá ligado quando vem uns questionamentos do nada? E eu fiquei papo de 20 minutos pensando comigo mesmo assim, mano, carnaval é todo ano ou carnaval é igual Copa? É tipo de 4 em 4 anos, de 2 em 2 anos. Eu fiquei muito tempo assim, eu ficando, caralho, todo ano tem carnaval, mano. Eu não sei se vai ter carnaval. Eu preciso me preparar pro carnaval desse ano. Eu não sei se tem carnaval esse ano. Aí, tipo, eu parei pra pensar um pouco, falei, mano, é óbvio que tem carnaval esse ano, caralho. Todo ano tem carnaval. Só que eu comecei a ficar abismado porque eu tava pensando que não teria carnaval, mano.
Then for orange, I'm going grated carrot for the vegetable, brown rice for the grain, and vital wheat gluten for the binder. Medium hopes for this one. I love carrots,
Nossa,
but
mano,
I've never
tá me deixando maluco isso,
Next
velho.
up for red, I'm going kidney beans for the legume. What I know are going to be divisive sun-dried tomatoes for the vegetable, brown rice for the grain, and ground oats for the binder. Pulse until pebbly, and let's be honest, not red.
A Salzinho mandou R$3. Só pra assustar a galera do vídeo.
This is going to be the one patty where I cheat with a little bit of food coloring. So let's all just collectively pretend that we didn't see that. And then for purple, as you might have guessed, I'm going with peeled and grated beets. This, along with some neutrally colored pinto beans, produced a picture-perfect purple patty. Next up, our blue potatoes and cabbage are going to be accompanied by blue corn tortilla chips, brown rice, and vital wheat gluten for a patty that I'm pretty sure is going to taste awesome. I mean, it's mostly potatoes and chips. So there you have it, 6 different veggie burger bases, each of which I'm going to press into 2-ounce patties the same width as our buns.
Tá bonito não, mas que assim, tá fiel, tá.
The vegan cheese. And given that this stuff has the consistency of Play-Doh, it might be more about shaping than slicing. Once you got your cheese, arts, and crafts ready to go, we can start slicing our buns. I wanted to make consistent, even cuts. And as it turned out, a coaster from today's sponsor was the perfect pedestal upon which to prop our bun. Then, of course, being French for bread. First things first, once our buns are sliced, we gotta toast them. I don't care what your burger's made of, I don't care what you're made of. You deserve a toasted bun. Once everybody is varying degrees of visibly golden brown, we're gonna make sure that our pan is nice and hot and well oiled, considering that our patties have little to no fat of their own.
Mas
as you can see, each patty browns at a different rate, so be sure to keep a close eye on crusts, especially if you're making 6 different kinds of veggie burgers at a time. Also use caution when flipping with all that excess oil in the pan. Once everybody's fried up, it's time to color coordinate and serve each patty, bun, and cheese getting carefully color matched before being.
Mas o hambúrguer de Siri tem salada, hein, mano? Aí você ramelou na missão, hein, velho? Por que o seu hambúrguer de Siri não tem salada?
Placed on a large balsa wood artist palette in the same color, order, and orientation as presented by SpongeBob on the show. And there you have it, folks.
Que da hora,
patties. Lots of stuff to unpack here, so let's go one at a time. I'm scared of losing even more sesame seeds, but we must take a look at these cross sections. First up,
que satisfatório, mano. Só pão não, mano.
The green pretty patty. And while this particular veggie burger was decidedly veggie-oriented in its flavors, it had a nice little crisp to it and played really well with the vegan cheese. Next up, the orange patty. Look at that cheese, sorta kinda melt. And this one was good. It didn't really taste like carrots, but not much like anything else either. Next up, the purple, violet, or mauve patty, which mostly just tasted like
esse aqui... Nossa, beterraba, odeio beterraba.
Beets, which means I'm not going to eat it unless there's goat cheese. Next up, the yellow corn patty, which to my disappointment only barely tasted like corn. Next up, the indigo, or midnight blue patty. This
Mano, esse era pra ser do quê, velho? Era pra ter gosto de quê?
one I'm most excited about, and it's pretty good, but it really does just taste like a tortilla chip burger. Last up, the red patty, made from sun-dried tomatoes and beans. Now this one at least kind of looks like cartoon meat, but it doesn't taste as much like sun-dried tomatoes as I had hoped. So let's rank them. First up, purple beets, not so great. Next up, yellow corn, about as bland a burger as ever there was. Almost the same story for the orange carrot burger. Then the red sun-dried tomato burger, a little bit more flavor, but still kind of disappointing. Then the blue burger, which was good, but maybe a little morally questionable. And then believe it or not, I think the green was my favorite. It's a veggie burger that's not pretending to be anything other than just that, a veggie burger. But I think we can agree there's one thing that all these patties have in common. They are indeed pretty. Thanks again to Cash App. That's money, that's Cash App. Download Cash App from the App Store or Google Play Store today to add your cash tag to the 80 million and counting.
Mano, eu adoro esse canal, velho. Não me decepciona em nenhum vídeo. O homem careca é sábio. O cozinheiro careca é sábio.